Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and I use those terms loosely. Today we're going to talk about transversals. And what a transversal is, it's when you have two parallel lines that are intersected by a third line. Transversals create 8 angles, and we're concerned about the relationships between those angles. There are 5 types of relationships we'll talk about real quick. There are corresponding angles, which means that the angles lie in the same position, if you will, on their intersection. So if you notice, there are 2 different intersections. 1 is in the top left of this intersection, and 5 is in the top left of that intersection. So 1 and 5 are corresponding angles. So keep going with it. 2 and 6 are corresponding. 3 and 7, 4 and 8 are all corresponding pairs. And corresponding pairs are congruent. So if you know what 1 is, you know what 5 is, 2 is 6, and so on and so forth. Okay, the next type is going to be alternate exterior angles. Now, all alternate angles we're talking about, they're on the alternate sides of the transversal, okay? But alternate exterior angles are also outside of the parallel lines. So our alternate exterior pairs here would be 1 and 8 and 2 and 7. There are also alternate interior, which means inside the parallel lines and opposite of the transversal. And those pairs would be 3 and 6 and 4 and 5. And all alternate exterior or interior angles are also congruent. The last type we'll talk about are same side angles, and we do have exterior and interior. So they're same side of the transversal, and they're outside the parallel, that's same side exterior. So we have 1 and 7, or 2 and 8. And then we have same side interior, that's 3 and 5, or 4 and 6. Now, same side exterior or interior angles are not congruent, they are supplemental, which means their angle sum is equal to 180 degrees. Why does this all matter? Well, we're going to use this to solve equations. So if we're given a transversal that looks like this, the first thing we need to do is determine what type of angle pair this is. These are alternate exterior angles, and if you recall from a couple seconds ago, I said that means they are congruent. That means that 7x plus 14 is equal to 3x plus 58. If you notice how I said that, that's an equation, so let's write that down. 7x plus 14 is equal to 3x plus 58. Now that we have an equation, we are able to follow our steps and solve. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is get the variables to one side by removing 3x from both sides. So subtract the 3x from both sides, excuse me. So we're left with 4x plus 14 is equal to 58. Then we remove the constant that's bothering the variable, which is a positive 14, so we subtract 14 from both sides. We're left with 4x is equal to 44. Divide both sides by 4, and we're left with x. Now that's if they asked us to solve for x, we would be finished there. If instead they asked us to solve for one of the angle measures, say they wanted to know what this angle measure was, we would sub 11 back in for x, so 11 times 7 is 77, plus 14 is 91, we would say that this is a 91-degree angle. All right, let's do one more example. Now we have, this transversal. We have 8x minus 6, and we have 3x plus 65. They're in the same side of the transversal, and they are inside of the parallels, which means these are same side interior angles, which means they're supplemental, so they add up to equal 180. So if we were asked to solve for x, now we're going to add each piece and add it up and set it equal, to 180. So 8x minus 6 plus 3x plus 65 is equal to 180. All right, we have a multi-step equation with with multiple terms on the same side. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a blue pen and put a box around my variables. I'm going to be sure to include the coefficient and the sign in front of them. All right, this is just a good strategy for combining like terms. Then I'm going to take a red pen and put a circle around my constants. Again, making sure that my sign in front of the constant is inside my circle. Now I combine like terms. 8x plus 3x is equal to 11x. Negative 6 plus 65 is equal to a positive 59. And that's all equal to 121. Now we have a two-step equation. We get rid of the constants bothering the variable. Subtract 59 from both sides. Oh, crap. We don't do that yet. Time out. This is equal to 180. We haven't done that step yet. Okay, so 11x plus 59 is equal to 180. We subtract 59 from both sides. Now we're left with 11x is equal to 121. See what happens when I jump the boat? All right. divide both sides by 11, and now x is equal to 11 on this problem as well. That's an interesting accident. All right, so there's a crash course in transversals. Hopefully that helps you out.